Hello, sweet, beautiful, divine soul. Let's talk about some energy. Okay, so if you have ever drink coffee, you probably felt a little bit low on energy or you wanted more energy, right? So this is like a really easy, basic way to start with this. We need fuel to be able to do things. We drink coffee to have more energy. Sometimes we get too much, we get shaky. We need food. We also need to literally release that energy. If you went to the restroom at all today, you have released the energy. You consume, we churn it, we use it, and then we release. And so this is very physical. Like our body needs that. We understand that on a physical level. Our car is very similar the way it needs gas, right? It needs that, it needs to release. It's using energy. We have electricity everywhere. We have all these powerful things that is conducting energy. We're familiar with energy. But here is the deal. That energy is not necessarily just physical. That energy is also being consumed and released energetically or in the ethers or emotionally, spiritually, but it is still existing, just not where we always directly see it necessarily. And so, what does that mean? It means that whenever something happens, if I go out into my day and I start it, and someone says something to me or an impact happens that hits me emotionally, so this could be something that really just scares me, it frightens me, it upsets me, it hurts me. Something that allows me to have an emotional connection with it that suddenly I feel. How many times have you started your day? Something happens. You feel the energy of what had just taken place and the emotion that comes with it, that feeling, whether that was, being sad, being a little traumatized, hurt, any of it, that's valid. But what happens is that it starts to ripple throughout your day. You start to feel it. You've held on to it, you've acquired it, and then sometimes it stays. Sometimes it not only stays, but it builds and it grows. And so this is all part of energy. And what we are capable of doing and what we don't usually do, and here is the key, we are able to release our energy and recharge our energy. Same way that the physical fuel we need to eat, we need to go to the bathroom to release it. And it gets dangerous if we don't go to the bathroom and release. Like that is a whole issue of its own. That is similar to our actual, our feeling energy, the energy that we cannot see. We are consuming and experiencing and taking in, but we also can release what is not serving us as we take action on our daily basis. We need fuel. We need to live and be with this energy, but we also need to release the energy that is not serving us. How do we do this? How do we release energy that's not serving us? So, this is something that can be very intentional. The way that it's not tangible, we can't go to the toilet necessarily and release the way that we do physically, which it's actually not true. We can. But we don't see it that same way. We don't necessarily go to the toilet to release energy um, and emotions. Now, that I'll get into that in a second. But we can do is set intentions. We can make decisions. We can be conscious and aware when suddenly there is energy within us that it's not serving us. When suddenly we have had something emotionally impact us and we feel that feeling growing and expanding. Whenever this happens, whenever something has disappointed us, hurt us, is really within our energy field, we have this opportunity to be aware of it and acknowledge it and then to start the actual energetic movement. So if we have something like Reiki energy work, it's acknowledging this energy that's everywhere in everything. We can be doing energy on ourselves, we can do energy on another. But the way that it works is we are setting the intention and we are conducting and moving and flowing that energy. So that way we can release, literally allowing movement flow through intention, feeling the energetic body and releasing what is no longer serving us. And so when shit hits the fan, when something happens, whenever we are aware of something and it just energetically impacts us, we can make it the decision as soon as it happens. We can consume, We can figure out what of that fuel was meant to actually fuel us, because sometimes we need these things to make new decisions, take new action, um, make change. And so we consume, we use the fuel. Now we're going to release what is no longer ours, what we don't need to hold on to. It's not serving us. And so we release and we send it back to the earth, send it back to the cosmos because freaking earth can handle it. And so you can envision this, even if you are alone, even if you don't have a Reiki practitioner with you or you're not Reiki certified, even if you just want to feel your own energy, take your hand right now, hold it over your chest. If you need to, close your eyes. But if you start scanning over your body, you may notice places where you get more warmth, more cool, more of a tingle, just little kickbacks. And whenever you feel that kickback, you can ask, anything is not serving my highest and best good, I now release. And envision almost at the bottom of your feet, these little flows, little spigots just flowing out all of that energy that is not serving you, but at the same time, simultaneously recharging yourself with that energy that is for your highest and best good. It is everywhere. It is everything in everything. And so allowing that transition, we're able to do that to ourselves. We can assist with others, but Reiki is one of those ways that really helps us conduct this energy. It is a tool in a toolbox, if you will. And I am probably not the most popular uh, phrasing of as a Reiki master because I'm one of those where I'm like, you can use Reiki, but you can also do this without Reiki. There's several other forms of energy healing and modalities too. But at the end of the day, if we are here, we are energetic beings. We are capable of conducting our own energy. It can be as soon as asking yourself, do I still want to hold on to this and would I like to release it? When you say yes, start feeling that movement take place. Use your own hands and conduct it. And bringing it back to the bathroom thing, you actually can use little tricks and hacks within everyday life to help you if you want to be sure that you're actually releasing energy frequently. Um, Now, not everyone has this habit, but I built the habit in that if I'm going to use the restroom, I definitely say, like, if there's anything energetically that is not serving me right now, I'm simultaneously releasing through this physical release. And I recommend that if you can build the habit. Sometimes in the beginning, it's easier to realize that we need to release energy because we just feel too blocked. And I'm going to go into a quick story to give an example of how this can look when things can get really heavy and how it can be confused for physical ailments and issues. So, my freaking amazing mom has gone above and beyond. She's superwoman. She'll work all these jobs. She'll do everything for the family. She'll take so much on, right? She's willing to go above and beyond for the family. Superwoman. This can only last so long if you're not taking care of yourself. What happened to her? Well, it got to the point that she started having lung issues, scary lung issues, the kind that had her in a full freaking year of tests, x-rays. The house got tested for different molds. There was specialists. There was all of these continued efforts and the issues weren't getting better. Her breathing was getting more challenging for her, all of it. And it was kind of intimidating. I mean, we really didn't know what was going on and they could not find answers. And so, and oh, this happens, doesn't it? And so, without answers and continuing to take tests and still being in the middle of that medical pursuit, one day my mom decided to take my business partner and I up on an offer we were doing, and it was a combined reading and Reiki, um, where it was like going in for the clarity through the cards and then balancing the energy through Reiki. And my mom decided to come in and accept the special from us. And I remember we began with the reading, went into the Reiki. And in the reading, I mean, freaking these things of clarity are insane, but like some of the things that were said in the reading hit home to her where she started to open up more. She knew exactly what it was addressing. And she shared with me and my partner there about things that she had not actually opened up to me before with to anybody. There was some information that she kept to herself and essentially, it was a weight that she was carrying by herself. She wasn't allowing this to be shared with anyone. She wasn't allowing the conflict that she was experiencing to be shared with anyone. She was just taking it all on herself to hold. She wasn't even just nothing, not even letting anyone know where she was struggling or why she was struggling. It was a struggle that she just closed in a box and held on so tight so that it wasn't anyone else's problem. I feel like a few of us have probably related with this before. And as she began to express this, um, she began, whenever we share with someone, you start to begin that energy release. It's not all held in. These things that we keep quiet about, if there's anything that you will not share with another, if there is a burden that you are carrying completely alone and you will not talk about it, address it, or allow it to be outside of you, these are the weights that will take up the most space in your energy. We aren't meant to carry or hold anything alone. We are not meant to hold it alone. You are not alone. And so when she began expressing this, first of all, that's going to start energetic release. But then she also made the decision of the energetic release. She had a few more steps within that reading, things along the lines of clarity. Whenever, sometimes if something happens and we put on responsibility and blame to ourselves, even in moments when we're a victim, sometimes that needs to be flipped, like realizing, like, oh, I am still worthy. That was not my fault. I can learn lessons, but things aren't necessarily my fault in that way, where I have to carry the punishment of myself on top of the consequence of whatever lesson I had to learn. So there's some decisions and realizations that happened in the reading that took place, but then we also went in for the Reiki. And so that's, we have several ways that energy can be conducted because it can be mental, it can be through thought, because that is how we hold on to it. A lot of energy is through those thoughts. As we play those thoughts, we continue to engage with the feeling plus the energy. And then whenever the mental side had been worked through to a certain extent, we go in for the energetic energy work side, the Reiki session. And as I went through and felt and pulled, and she felt a lot of it releasing, and people will say the sensations they experience can be similar to like a cool running, almost like a water moving. Sometimes they'll feel like their legs, just something releasing through their feet is a very common phrase. Sometimes feeling the warmth of the Reiki hands. But she let me know that she was feeling the energy move. But here's the biggest difference. Here's what stood out to all of us. After this session, after this day of these two modes, my mom felt better in her lungs. The part of her that had been having issues with breathing for a year prior, that had been going through all these tests, all these medical experts. So it's not like we said, hey, we're going to replace this with the other. That wasn't the attempt at all. This was the aftermath result. She was taking care of things medically as she needed to, as she should have. But as we did this energy work, the mystery illness that she was dealing with evaporated because it wasn't that energy isn't just things that we carry emotionally. It's never going to just be the feelings that we're holding inside that are only ours to carry. It will come into our body. It will ask to be seen. It'll ask to be released because we weren't meant to carry things alone. You aren't here to carry anything alone. You decided to be here in this world with other humans, where we're all here to be imperfect beings, experiencing, witnessing each other's flaws, witnessing each other's beauty and miracles, and being, connecting. And we have this beautiful connection and sacred holding of each other energetically, where as we express and share and are vulnerable to each other, we no longer stay in the illusion of the burden of the weights that we will carry. And so please, please express, please share, please go into movement that can allow energy to flow. Go into energy work. Reach out if you ever want to for a Reiki session. Because I will go in, we'll scan those chakras, we'll feel kickback. I will oftentimes communicate what it is that I picked up on, what locations and what visions I saw while in certain spots of the Reiki. It's different for everybody. Some people I see a lot of things. Some people I'm feeling more of their blocks and just moving things. Some people I get really vivid imagery of things from the past, of things from spirit guides, of ways that their body has been talking to them that it's been wanting to be used, but they haven't necessarily. Sometimes I'll see people writing, some people I see in gardens, some people I see in dance and movement. And I always love when I bring those things up because sometimes everyone's different, but they'll be like, oh, actually. It's been nudging at me for like 3 years and I haven't even started. I think I will now. And so, if you're ever interested in a Reiki session with me, we can do those. I can do them. I mean, we schedule it and then we show up here and we will be on a Zoom and I will freaking do the energy at distance. It's energy. We don't need to be physically together to do the energy work because it is not even a physical thing, but we can also be physically together. There is a lot of people though that say distance Reiki sometimes is more powerful for them though, because of the fact, and my belief within that is that it's because of the fact that both individuals are approaching it and understanding it very purely energetically in that moment and agreeing to that energetic connection so purely. And so, so much of what we're doing is our intention. Once we make a decision and approach with that decision, a lot happens. And if you do some energy work on yourself, if you start, releasing and trying and scanning, doing that kickback and just feeling that energy move through your feet and recharging, and you're like, it doesn't feel done. I'm still holding on to things. Please remember that when you physically consume and release energy and you go to the bathroom, you don't always release it all the first time. There's plenty of times that people go to the use restroom and it's not but 10 to 20 minutes later and they're like, I have to pee again. So it is okay if you release energetically, if you go in for a Reiki session, if you run energy on yourself, if you go for a run to release energy, if you verbally communicate to release energy and you start to recharge and you feel like something comes up again, you feel like it's not done, that is not, a sign that you did it wrong. It's not a sign of anything, like it's not working for you, any of that. You did it right. But if you are able to feel it, if you have that awareness, that's the first step. That means it's just letting you know, hey, there's more that wants to be worked through, to be released, to be recharged. And I invite you to be curious and aware when those moments come up and say, well, let me just go and run some more energy. Um, and be kind to yourself as these thoughts come up, as you experience. Be very kind and patient to yourself. You are here. You are miraculous. You are literally the universe in human form. Freaking cool. And I'm wishing you the best day. I'm wishing you an amazing, 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 amazing time. Please let me know if you want help with some energy. And I'm wishing you the best as you work on your own. Have a great day.